Welcome to the YourTown television program. My name is Jeff Kline, and I'm your host for the Naval Postgraduate School Foundation segment of this program, where we bring you interesting faculty and students and the research that they're doing. We're doing a series of segments on married couples at the Naval Postgraduate School. One of the great aspects of our student population is many come that are married. Their families settle here for a couple of years, make great contributions to our local community. And today we'd like to welcome Major Andrew and Sherry. Hietpas, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Andrew, you've been a student here. What are you studying?
I'm studying information warfare as my primary degree that the Marine Corps sent me here. I also decided to do a second degree in information technology management.
2 degrees.
2 degrees, yes.
Has he always been like that?
Always.
Always an overachiever, that sort of
Definitely.
thing. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the research you're doing and the programs you're studying. But I'd like to, and I got some great pictures here, so we're going to go back a little bit to find out how you two met. Did you know each other in high school, or where did you actually meet?
We did not. No, we actually met when we both attended Texas A&M University. We met in between our freshman and sophomore years.
Sherry, I didn't realize that you went to Texas A&M
Yes.
University. Did you have boots too?
I did not. No, that's only for the Corps cadets.
Okay, so you were a
So-
member of the Corps Cadets,
I
right?
was, yes.
And you met there.
We met there. We met our freshman year, but it took us, with 50,000 students in undergrad, it took us about 2 years to actually go on a date.
But
And
it was
so,
meant to happen.
meant to be. Yeah.
So we have a picture of the ring dance. Tell us a little bit about the ring dance at Texas A&M, and let's bring up that picture of the ring dance. It's a beautiful picture with a very short haircut in a Texas A&M uniform, and Andrew, you look good too.
Oh, thank you.
Sherry's in a beautiful dress. So tell us a little bit about the history of the ring dance at Texas A&M.
Well, you get your Texas Aggie ring after completing 90 hours, and all rings are exactly the same. And so at that dance, when you go through this big replica of the ring, your date turns your ring from one direction to the other to symbolize your entrance into the world.
So it's not a passing of rings, it's turning of rings.
No, it is the turning of rings
Turning of
because
rings.
This
once
is quite different from the academies, then, isn't it? Yes, because
is.
their ring dances, they actually provide a ring to their date, etc. But this one
Oh,
was
I
very-
earned mine.
Oh, yes, I know. You earned yours. No, this was not in fact, I was going to see if you gave your ring to him.
Oh, no.
But that wasn't the exchange.
I reached for
No.
it, she
The
slapped it
exchange
away.
is actually turning and opening into the world.
That's
huh?
correct,
Yeah.
yeah, because at the bottom of each ring, Aggie ring, there's the year that you graduated on. And so for your time there before ring dance, the year is facing towards you.
Right.
And then at ring dance, you turn away to face it out towards the world.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so that's how you met. You went to the ring dance together, and then you were later married. We also have a later marriage picture here, and a very good-looking Marine Corps uniform. And tell us a little bit how about happened. Did the ring dance seal the deal, or what exactly happened there?
It did, yeah. We were pretty much set from that point. Although the wedding, we had to kind of speed it along. The time that I was supposed to report to the Marine Corps, the basic school,
Right.
moved up by a few months. So Sherry and I looked at each other. We had 2 weeks, and so we decided to throw the wedding together there in College Station, and went on from there.
Yeah, the whole idea of the military wedding where you just kind of get married at the courthouse and do it at the church later, it never occurred to us. We didn't have enough military family in that regard. So we just called everybody up and said, hey, we're getting married in 2 weeks. And
And you got it done.
a
did.
Methodist church took pity on us and let us get married there. A local bar let us have our reception that was owned by Marines. So we lucked out.
Well, that's fantastic.
it
That's
off.
actually a great story.
Yeah.
And what you referred to, by the way, for the audience who's not military, is sometimes when you have very short chance to get married, you go to a courthouse so that you actually have agreements and their spouses, and particularly if the service member is going to go in harm's way.
Oh, yeah.
And then that way the spouse is covered, and then later you have a larger wedding. That's not unheard of
Oh, yeah.
at all in the service itself. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your family then. We have a picture here of the first daughter, right, where Andrew, you meet Anna. Where did that take place, and what was that picture associated with this?
That picture, that took place right off the beach in Camp Pendleton. So Anna was born while I was on float with the 15th MEU.
Okay, what that means is you were deployed on ships, and where did you go?
So I was floating around the Pacific, and we went over to the Middle East.
Okay.
And we'd actually just loaded back up on the ships from Bahrain when Anna was born. So I had a satellite phone that I was calling back to Sherry to see how things were going. It wasn't the us talking through the whole thing. I called
Nope.
back
No.
right
at
before.
certain times. I see.
And
Yeah.
it was certain times. I called Sherry and she said, "Is that Andrew? Well, tell him I'm busy and he can
Call
call back
back.
in 30 minutes."
Oh, so there
And
you go.
30
Wrapped up
minutes
and called
later,
back.
Anna was there.
Yep.
This is not unusual either in the military.
No, so we, she was 6 weeks old when he came home from his first deployment. And so he met her off perfect. Just come walking up on the beach and meet your kid. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was, except
Yeah.
for missing that whole.
Yeah.
And so she was 6 weeks old.
6 weeks
She
old.
was.
So I see. So you got at least to be there to lose some sleep
I did
Exactly.
a
with the
little bit.
mother. That's
Exactly.
exactly right. So
Yeah. So we have 3 daughters now, though. Anna is 9, Emily is 6, and Rachel is 3.
go through those again. She's 9.
9.
9. Okay.
9, 6, and 4. Sorry.
Oh,
four.
just had a
I
birthday.
just had a birthday.
That's right. I
She
remember
might get
singing
me.
"Happy Birthday."
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. So that's fantastic, and we have a picture of that too. If we could call that one up real quick, it's a picture of the 4 of you, and this must be in Camp Pendleton. or
No,
where
that's
is that?
actually in 29 Palms.
29
so that
Palms
was
here in
right after
California.
I'd finished up the last job that I had before coming to school as tank company commander. So I just turned over the company, and that's us walking off the tank ramp after the ceremony.
Fantastic family story. Well, let's talk a little bit about the service now. Well, you said you were a tank commander or armor in the Marine Corps. Is that right?
That's correct.
So how does that obviously fit with information warfare?
They don't naturally fit directly. So the Marine Corps likes to send people off to do additional duties, and my timing worked out well to head off to school. So with the Marine Corps' recent push for more information warfare trained personnel, I was selected to come here and study.
So what made you decide to get 2 degree programs instead of 1?
So in one of my previous jobs, I'd actually taken a class from MPS, so that freed up a little bit of space in my degree plan.
Oh, so you're
And
able to add courses.
I
that were very
was able
similar.
to put a little bit of extra coursework in there for the opportunity.
So you've been here for 2 years now, is that right?
Just about. It'll be 2 years this June.
And you're graduating in June.
That's correct.
Well, Sherry, in those 2 years, what have you been doing in Monterey besides hurting young women?
Exactly. Actually, I went to work for the First United Methodist Church of Pacific Grove right after coming here. They like to hire a military spouse as their director of family ministries. And so I went to work part-time for them and really fell in love with the job, fell in love with the people of Pacific Grove and the church in particular. And so when we move in June, after Andrew graduates, I will start at Wesley Theological Seminary in Washington, D.C. and pursue my degree for eventual ordination in the Methodist Church.
Well, that's fantastic. So you went from a part-time job to potentially a full-time
full-time
one.
job.
That is great. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
that, of course, you have to be endorsed by that church in order to have that happen as well.
Exactly.
So they must have liked you as well.
I think so.
So Andrew, you can move. She can't. She's got to stay here.
Exactly.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry.
That's what a lot of people
It
have
would
told
work.
me. Yeah, it's not surprising.
No, it doesn't work that
I
way.
get that regularly.
I know it doesn't work that way. Well, that's really fantastic. And what was your experience, or why did you actually decide to move that? Because your experience here, or
Exactly. The church, First United Methodist in Pacific Grove, it's a small church. And so being the size that it was, I was able to kind of see really all the different aspects of how the church works within the community, some of the nonprofit organizations that they partner with, and really trying to give back to the community on top of the spiritual aspect of working with others. It was truly an excellent opportunity to really kind of spread my wings and see where I really wanted to devote my time now that our kids are getting older.
yeah, but you also do something with Girl Scouts. Is
I
that
do.
right?
I do hurt a lot of young women. I am a Girl Scout troop leader here for the girls.
Oh, bless you.
So
And then what ages are those? Is that
I'm a Daisy troop coordinator, so that's kindergarten, first grade. So we've
Great.
had 12 this year, and then we're part of a multi-level, all military for the most part, troop of 35 girls.
my daughter was a Daisy a long time
Yeah.
ago. 35 girls.
35. Yeah, it's mainly in the La Mesa community area. We have a
Right.
few local girls that have been really great with all the transitions, but this troop is mainly military, so they come and they go, and it's been really neat to kind of give the girls a chance to really dig into that community.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that as far as that goes. Now, did you have experience with the military before either of you joined the Marine Corps, so to speak?
You know, not really. So my grandfather was in the Navy during World War II.
Oh,
but
good.
that
What
was-
happened to you? No,
We
I'm
have,
kidding.
we
I
have
was
some
a
regular
sailor.
ribbing back and forth
Okay.
on that exact topic.
right. But my question is this then, your children are growing up with an entirely different experience
Oh,
that you did. And so is that a good thing or a bad thing for your kids to move around and see that amount, but never have a potential foundation at one place?
I think like anything, there's definitely the good and the bad. And so we just seek to try and expose them to the good and then try and help out and make up for those areas that are bad. I mean, we've met some amazing military children who, based off of their experiences that they had growing up in different places, went off to do really impressive things. So hopefully we follow in that.
And we are pretty rooted with our family at home, and we try to give them that foundation that, this is where you're from and this is kind of who we are. But I really am excited for the wings that this life has given them. They've lived all over the country already. And part of the beauty of this community in particular is in a church like ours, our girls have been exposed to having, an entirely different set of surrogate grandparents that have really loved and impressed upon them. So they've never been at a loss, and that's been really fortunate.
That's a great story. And of course, you always have the Marine Corps family, regardless of wherever you go, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
So, but how often do you get a chance to go back to Texas and see your family?
Not as often as we'd like. That's for sure. It's been probably about a year or so since we've been back. Yeah.
So, Andrew, you talked a little bit about what you're studying, but what is your research? What's your thesis areas?
So my thesis that I'm looking at is looking at swarming UAVs and how they could be used for communication relays and the control mechanisms behind that. So really just a complex way of figuring out how we can talk in an environment where we wouldn't normally be able to.
I know that was a concise summary. I have to tell you that we've had an earlier show where Dr. Alex Bordesky was on, and he described a little bit about the experiment that you participated in San Clemente, I think. Is that right? Or down with the nodes and the aircraft. That's sort of what you're talking about, right? Using the UAVs as communication.
That's correct. Yeah. And specifically for mine, it's kind of an updated version of the Pony Express, for lack of a better description, but actually picking messages up at one place and transferring them to another.
Well, that's like carrier pigeon.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
And what type of UAVs or unmanned aerial vehicles are you looking at?
So at least for the purpose of my thesis, we're just using those NPS UAVs, the Zephyr 2 platforms that they did the 50 UAV simultaneous flight, as just a test bed for the underlying control mechanism.
So after you've done this research, and particularly important research for the Marine Corps as far as silent and uninterceptable communications, because that's what you're talking about, talking about line of sight, what's the Marine Corps going to do with you now?
The Marine Corps is going to send me off to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
And do what?
I'm going to end up on a staff, putting my degree to use, doing information warfare related things for TUMEF.
Actually, that's great. So you'll utilize your degree program immediately.
I will.
That's wonderful. And have you been to Camp Lejeune, Sherry?
Just to visit. We had some good friends stationed there a few years ago, so we're excited. It's a new adventure for us. For sure.
And how are you going to go to school at the same time that you're there?
So Wesley Theological Seminary offers a kind of online hybrid option. So I'll take some courses online, and some courses I will drive up and attend classes once a month or over summer sessions and things like that.
What's the drive?
6 hours.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh.
So we have a very large military family, and kind of as you were talking about, we have a ton of friends in the DC area that I'll be able to stay with, and parents will come in and help with the kids occasionally. So we'll make it work on a wing and a prayer for sure.
Well, now, will you ever go back to tanks, or is...
That's kind of up in the air. So I'm hoping to sneak back after this payback tour of a short window to hit a key billet as either an operations officer or as an executive officer. So.
And where does Lejeune have armor?
They do. They have a second. The Marine Corps has 2 active duty tank battalions. So one's in 29 Palms, where we were before this, and then the second one's over there at Camp Lejeune.
Well, let's talk a little bit about 29 Palms, because that's a really unique area for California. It's sort of a high desert, so how did you acclimate to being desert rats or in that area?
Yeah, thankfully enough, we'd been there twice. So
so you were
we were able to get ready. The first time it took a little bit of adjusting because we drove in at night, as most military families do to 29 Palms.
Yeah, that's exactly. Or do everything at night or in the
exactly,
morning,
and lights were everywhere, so it made it look a lot bigger than it actually was. But we adjusted, and the community out there just was absolutely wonderful.
Well, it is. It's close. It's very close knit because
it's a very close knit military community.
Sort of like being stranded on an island. You don't have a choice in a way, but
and you grow to like some of the aspects of a quieter pace of life, which it definitely offers.
You have both contributed to our community in a lot of ways, but what do you enjoy most about, and what do your girls enjoy most about Monterey County?
Oh, gosh. Our girls love the ocean. They love the aquarium, my museum. There's just so many different things that they've been able to kind of dip their hands in. For me personally, it's been our work at the church. It's been a fabulous community of people to really get involved with. That's been a good aspect. And some of the local restaurants I will definitely miss.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. And Andrew, I know we give you very little free time.
That's true.
You don't spend with your family or in academics, but what have you enjoyed about living here?
I think the best part about living here is the opportunity to actually get to know a community. So being in the military, we move so regularly that you don't get very familiar with much more than just the base. But here we've had the opportunity to meet the outstanding people of the local community and actually participate in some of the things while we've been here.
That is great. Well, now I have another picture I want to show. We do have the Naval Postgraduate School is, of course, an academic community, and it is one in which our officers get a chance to sort of take their packs off and relax. But we do maintain some traditions, and one of those is, of course, the Marine Corps Ball. We're celebrating the Marine Corps birthday, and we have a great picture of you all, and a picture of the Marine Corps Ball with both of you there. How often does that, or how often do you attend the Marine Corps Ball? Every year? Is that a tradition everywhere, regardless of what happens?
Absolutely. There have been years that he's been deployed that we've missed a couple, but there have also been years that we've done a couple extras because of having extra unit balls. It's a really fabulous opportunity to celebrate the Marine Corps every year, so we don't miss it.
And you touch your traditions that way and that sort of thing.
Without a doubt.
Quick sea story on my part. I was captain of a destroyer, and we were inserting a Marine recon in an actual operation. It happened to be the day of the Marine Corps birthday. We had a little Marine Corps ball right on the mess deck before they went in the water. Everybody had a little party. I was the guest speaker. Enjoyed time I was ever the guest speaker. But by golly, we had those traditions and we carried on.
Oh, without a doubt. No matter where we're at, we definitely celebrate.
Well, thank you all very much for being on the show, and thank you for your contributions to the local community. I wish you the best of luck to both of you for your career in the Marine Corps and for seminary studies, and later being a minister in the Methodist Church. We'll be cheering for you here in the Monterey and Pacific Grove area.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for joining us in this segment of the YourTown television program. My name is Jeff Kline, your host for this segment that's hosted by NPS Foundation. Join us again to learn about other interesting activities at NPS.